happen to you? You're lined up at guard. You're thinking it's just a zone block, easy day, and then bam, linebacker shoots the A gap like a missile. You're flat-footed. You're spun around. And your quarterback's just back there eating the turf.
Yep. Welcome to life in the trenches. Guard playing for the soft, and it's leverage, footwork, and grit on every down. If you're not knee deep in contact, you're a liability.
And today on the Hoggie Shuffle, we're talking guard grit. From what separates the grinders from the guys just getting by. From combo block to second level strikes, we're breaking down how guards win the war inside. But before we start that, we got a little conversation here. 99.8% of our last monthly viewers on YouTube were still not subscribed. So if you're into line talk, pass pro battles and the art of the grind, tap that button, hit subscribe, stay in the loop every week. We're talking the big boys, we're talking the O-line here, and we want to see you out there.
This week, we're digging into a full guard gameplay. What makes zone blocking click, and showing love to some of the nastiest O-line duos working in the league today. We also have Wheel of Teams, flag on the play, and another big guy spotlight coming your way. Let's go. Let's get into it.
All right, so the first thing we're going to hit to today is Coach's Corner. Again, like I said, every week it's something we want to talk about. It's something we want to do to make sure that we're doing this for the right reasons and making sure that we're talking about the right stuff. So this week we're going to break down the next generation football minds. I want to talk about the toughest, smartest, and most underrated positions in the art of football, which is the guard position. You play between the tackles, this one's for you because the trenches, it's where the game's won.
We all call it the gap and go grind. It's not about being flashy. It's about putting in the work or nobody's watching. You need to work on your lateral quickness, your strong anchor, and your violence at the second level. I said it, violence. You do your job right, your team eats every time.
At the end of the day, guys, I want to break it down, especially for the younger players. There's three things you got to master. The first thing is going to be your sidestep kick, your post step, and your lateral step. It's one of those things, it's a kind of a quick hop. You take a short kick, a few inches, it brings your right foot back under. You never cross your feet. That's the number one thing of playing offensive line. I'm going to tell you right now. It's kind of like playing basketball defense. You always want to keep that nice square base and never cross those feet over because you are going to get lit up if you do. So you got to stay square. That's what keeps your balance. You let your mirror your defensive player, and when we're twisting or stunting, if you chase him, you're toast. But if you stay square, you're going to win that battle.
I always like to say this. If you turn the tree upside down, would it still be as powerful? No, because a tiny little branch ain't going to hold up the whole tree.
You need the trunks.
Second, we got hip lock punch. This is where power meets control. You land your first punch, then you twist your hips like you're rotating through out in basketball. You're trying to turn the defender's shoulders towards the sidelines, not your quarterback. If there's a back facing the quarterback, you've done your job.
And third is combo to backer. This is one thing that's all about timing. Start a double team with the center. You're going up, and then when the defender's secured, it's your job to climb. Eyes first, look for that linebacker, and then move your hips and open the path. You strike with your hands, eyes, hips. That's the most important thing. That's the sequence right there. And guys, at the end of the day, when you're coming up off your double team, you want to make sure you and your center come through, right? You're going to go in. You're going to be vocal. That's the biggest thing is being vocal, letting him know, hey, I'm going. And he can secure that block. He can turn his hips out, make sure he closes that hole, and then you're going for backer.
Right? That's what we always talk about, hands and eyes, right? Hands first, eyes second, because you need to be able to see that linebacker coming down, because if you're not paying attention to what that linebacker doing, he's coming for you. He's going to knock you. And
I'm telling you right now, you don't have to be the biggest guy on the field. I'm 5'9", 5'10". I still held my own when it came to my double teams, my inside play. You just need to be the most locked-in guy. Your pre-snap movements, your blitz looks, the shifting fronts, guards see it all. And so the more you understand, the faster you're going to react.
And let's not forget, don't chase colors. It's always first color, first guy you see, you go get him. If your guy loops away, disappears, climb to his next level. Go get somebody. Like a great coach always said to me, I don't care who you block. As long as you're blocking somebody, tell the whistle, you're good to go. Finish it. Stay knee deep in contact. That's how you dominate your rep.
100%, and especially, for our young guys watching, a really good way to get better at guard. I got a drill for you. It's called the goblet shuffle. So you grab yourself a kettlebell, dumbbell, you hold it at your chest. Any weight, really. If you can get any sort of weight here that you can hold at your chest, keep that nice position here, and all you're going to do is you're going to shuffle 5 to the left, you're going to shuffle 5 to the right? Don't cross your feet. You stay nice and low. You keep your chest up. It builds the balance, it builds the footwork, and it builds your core. Exactly what you need for inside play.
Like I just said, try this one. The Q scan always works. Every time you put your head up, you're looking down the field, boom, ID the linebacker that's most dangerous to the play. He's going to be in the bubble. He's going to be in the triangle. That's the guy that we want to get. He's going to be in space. Then you got to call him out. Once you see him, you say, okay, blitz, blitz, blitz. I got Mac, I got Mac, I got Mike, I got Mike. You just let him know, hey, here we go. We're going to get up to the next level. It could be a stunt. You're seeing the stunt. You're going to see the pressure before it happens.
100%. And when it comes to being second nature, take a step further. You can get the punch and climb drill going as well too. If you got a dummy, or even if you're at the house or anything, and you got an unfinished basement, you got a nice concrete wall you can work on too. You just strike the dummy with one hand, reset, and break off to a cone 5 yards away. So it's going to teach you how to deliver contact, how to release clean, and get upfield fast. It's the little things that I promise you. Work on these little things in the off season, guys. It's going to make you so much better. Whatever program you play for, they're going to thank you for it.
Well, champions aren't made on the football field. They're made in the gym, and they're made in the film room.
And the reality is, guys, I always talk about, I had a great O-line coach who taught me one thing and one thing only, was to make sure that you're a monster out there. And when you're doing that kind of stuff, like you hitting skip rope, it's so important. You see these boxers out there and stuff and how they move so quick in the ring. It's the same thing with offensive line. If you can do skip rope and get that foot speed up, your lateral movement is going to be so much better. It's going to be unreal. I promise you it's going to be night and day. Let's look at obviously some case studies in the NFL. Real life examples from last season. The Green Bay Packers mid-season. Okay, they moved Elton Jenkins to full-time left guard. It changed everything for their offensive line.
Monster.
Right, going from week 7 on the Packers, they're averaging 5.2 yards per carry on inside zone runs behind Jenkins, up from just 3.9 a year earlier. So that's a huge jump. You're almost getting an extra 2 yards per carry out of your running back because your offensive line play is now working that much better. And that's what it comes down to, guys. You see all these stats out there. These running backs are getting huge plays. Saquon Barkley's breaking records, all that stuff. But without offensive linemen, that never happens. I don't care what team you play for, what league you play for. Without the O-line play out there being successful, you're never going to be out there getting yards unless you have that.
Jenkins was locked in last season. Only 1 sack allowed on nearly 600 pass sets. That's elite football. And when he pulled on run plays, running back, my guy, Josh Jacobs, love you, buddy, averaged 7.1 yards a carry. He also ran the tackle guard full. That's when the guard wraps behind, I like to call the cross block. That's when the guard wraps behind the tackle, climbs up to the linebacker while the tackle seals down the lineman. It only works when the guard is smart and fast.
That's kind of the interior cohesion you need. It kept the Packers' offensive schedule. It helped Jordan Love finish top 10 in play action success rates. Without smart guard play, that doesn't happen. It's not happening. I'm telling you right now. So at the end of the day, guys, remember, if you play guard, it's not just about being strong. You need the IQ, you need the technique, you need the finish. And that's the difference between good and great, really.
And never forget, guys, the grind lives in the gaps. You own it, you work at it, and your team's run-pass balance becomes absolutely deadly week in and week out.
Welcome back to Meats and Myths. This is the segment where we slice through football folklore and serve the facts straight from the trenches. So today's hot take is that pass blocking is easier than run blocking. So it sounds simple. You just stand there, you mirror your guy, and I'll tell you right now, though, anyone who's tried to stonewall a twisting D lineman knows that is just pure BS and pure fiction.
Exactly. Tell that the poor soul trying to catch up with Myles Garrett ghost moves you. Let's break it down. Why myth doesn't hold water.
Run blocking is attack mode. You're coming downhill, you're staying low, you're pulling through, you're exploding off the snap. You know the angle. You know there's one delivering blow, inside power, inside zone, duo, whatever it is. You're coming through, you're holding your gap, you're coming in.
Like I said, you set the terms. Leverage, momentum, and a combo helps. It's violent. But you are dictating the action, guys. You are dictating the action. You know the play. They don't know the play. By us doing a move, we're kicking ass.
Exactly. You're pulling your hip. You're going your hips where you want the ball to go, all that kind of stuff. When pass pro, it flips everything. Now you're on your heels. You're chopping your feet. You're reacting to stunts, spin, speed to power moves, all in real time. And at the end of the day, they know where it's coming now because it's a pass situation, whereas in a run play, you can dictate that, like Rob just said, where you can go to the left or right side, and the line's all shifting in one direction.
You got to remember, too, everything that we do as a lineman is about timing. So if your first kick slide is, half a beat off, it's a strip sack city, and you are going to be on the clip of TSN tomorrow night.
Well, exactly, right? And, look at the stat checks here. It's rare that you see a two-way tackler. So only 5 NFL players last year earned 80-plus grades in both pass and run blocking. It's rare that you get a guy that can do both very, very well. So you look at the PFF research; it shows pass blocking grades they swing more from week to week than run blocking grades. So just understanding how to score that and realize how much harder that is to keep that high level of pass blocking up every single week.
100%. Like I look at it like this: in youth football, when a guy knows it's a pass, it doesn't happen that often because you're in youth football and you're looking at it. Most guys that are out there, they're just know to rush the quarterback. So most of the time, they're just rushing the quarterback and they're not looking for the running back. So we have it a little bit easier that way. But you get into high school football, it gets a lot different. You get coaches,
sure.
They're teaching that up. They're making sure, hey, we wanted to make sure that it looks like we're coming for the pass, and then they're going to give you the stunt, and then they're going to roll the linebacker around the edge. And if you, again, like we just said, if you're late, you're going to get beat, and you're going to get beat bad.
And the reality is why the myth kind of lingers out there when people think that it's like this is, pass pro, it looks calm. There's not as many pancakes on pass pro. There are there. Don't get me wrong. If you catch your D-line slipping, you can get them good on a pass block pancake. But, you don't see the pile drive and run blocks. It's a little more calmed, but it's controlled chaos, right? So one slip up, and that quarterback's eating the turf back there. And so that's why it's so important. I always say, like, as a center, if you're in a four-man front coming through, that you can track block. You can make sure that you can roll around and find the open guy, find the guy that's slipping through, protect that quarterback. And same thing if you're a guard, if they're in a 30-man front, to make sure that you're both track blocking. You're helping out where it needs to be. If there's a blitz coming down or if there's a guy seeping from the outside, you got to be there to make sure that the tackle can bump out and you can pick up his guy.
Right, and again, like we all know this. When we're on, we make it look flawless, right? It's boring. Fans miss how technical every hand, strike, and foot angle really is.
And the proof's in the pudding at the end of the day. I get to watch every single week. I'm a big Eagles fan, so the evidence comes down to, like, for example, Lane Johnson. I mean, this PFF charted, he allowed just one sack in 700 pass blocking snaps. And he's not surrendered a sack in any regular season game since November 22nd of 2020. Right?
Wow.
Since 2020.
Wow.
That's insane.
That's wow. Yeah, he put it in the best. In the run game, I hit you. In the pass pro, I let you hit me, and I still win. That is his craft in a nutshell, and that's the mentality that every one of you guys playing O-line need to have in your head.
You have to have it, guys. Like, I know as a coach, I always say it like this. When you're lined up against somebody, I don't care if you're bigger, smaller, fatter, skinnier, taller, it does not matter. Your number one mindset always has to be that I'm going to beat the crap out of this guy across from me every single play. And even if you don't do it, you're going to get back up and you're going to do it again until it finally clicks into your head that you can do that every single play. And so really, guys, the verdict comes down to it is pass blocking is not the easy life. It's the defense on the offender. It's longer reps. It's higher validity. It's zero forgiveness. And you get beat once and the whole team knows, all the crowd knows, everyone knows what's going on because your quarterback, he's feeling it. I'm telling you right
100%.
now.
And again, like I said, this is the NFL. So there's not guys taking plays off.
No, can't.
Those guys are out there making their dollars, and they can't take plays off because they're making their dollars. So they're coming at you every damn play.
Well, think about it. How much those D linemen are getting paid nowadays, even offensive linemen, but especially them interior D linemen are getting paid big bucks right now. They have to show out. They have to show up every single play, every single time. So if you decide that you're taking a play off in the NFL, buddy, you're getting smoked.
100%. What do we got next?
Next thing we're going to roll into is, again, every week we're going to do this, guys, is Big Guy Spotlight.
Big Guy Spotlight.
The big fellas, they need love. Tonight we're shifting on to two guards who don't really get a lot of headlines, but, they keep the pocket clean. And at the end of the day, they're not, one guy's not even a starter. But I want to talk about him because I think that he's a guy that could break out. He could come up. He could be the guy in the next few years here.
All right, break out the pancakes. It's underrated Big Guy Spotlight starting now.
So my guy this week is going to be Matthew Bergon. He's a left guard for the Atlanta Falcons. And so, this week's Big Guy Spotlight, I'm putting the focus on a guy that you don't hear enough, right? Like I said, he's Matthew Bergon. He's left guard for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Falcons have been on a bit of a tear when it comes to development of the offseason. Chris Lindstrom, arguably one of the best guards in football. Caleb McGarry,
100%.
perfect fit for their outside zone run games. And even Drew Dalman, he just got put in Chicago and came through the same system. So now you got Bergen stepping into the system with the same mold. His growth from last year was obvious. He jumped from a 59.1 PFF grade all the way to a 70.9. And so that's not just better, guys. That's going into a legit starter territory where he's really going to become the guy here. And what makes him stand out is his flat outside zone blocking scheme. He leads all guards with 555 outside zone reps over the past 2 seasons. And he's not out there just going through the motions. He's executing. Among 66 guards with at least 100 outside zone snaps, he ranks 12th with a 78.2 PFF run blocking grade. So you know what that tells me? It tells me 2 things, guys. It tells me 2 things. Atlanta trusts him. Right. They trust him with everything they got because he can go out there and he can be the guy. And he's getting the job done. The second thing is he's getting the job done at a high level in one of the NFL's most demanding schemes for offensive linemen. So realistically, he can tighten up just a few things, get a little more consistent in his pass pro, cut down on the penalties. He's got a really, really big shot at cracking the top 10 guard conversation this season coming up. So I'm going to tell you right now, boys, keep your eyes on Bergon. Atlanta's building something nasty in the trenches, and this dude's right in the heart of it.
All right, I got Mr. Ben Cleveland, right guard, Baltimore Ravens. That's a coincidence because I imagine the Baltimore Ravens absolutely hate Cleveland.
Well, it's kind of like having Dallas Goddard on the Eagles.
All right, this week I'm shining the spotlight on your name, on a name you need to know. Ben Cleveland, right guard for the Ravens. He's stuck behind the starter a last few seasons, so he's not getting a lot of time, but when he gets his chances, dude shows out. They don't call him Mountain Man for nothing. Let's rewind. Week 18 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I remember watching that game. Cleveland played every offensive snap and posted a 91.1 overall PFF grade and was graded 90.9 in his run blocking. Only gave up 2 pressures on 38 pass sets. And you got a guy like Lamar Jackson running around crazy, and that's all he gave up? That's crazy. That's the best single game a guard has had by the Ravens in the last 3 seasons. Now, across just 49 total snaps in 2024, he allowed 0 sacks, logged a solid 63.1 run blocking grade. Now, that's pretty good. I mean, that's not a lot of snaps, so that's pretty good. And he showed a clear potential, small but big impact.
Well, exactly. Like, he's not a starter guy, but at the same time, like, he's a dog.
Right? His depth chart got really crowded again with new additions. It's not a talent issue; it's a numbers game. He's at the bottom of the list. Cleveland is 6'6", 370, and moves like a freight train. On gap runs, the Ravens' backs average 3.8 yards, and 3.8 yards combined with all backs is pretty damn good. That's the number 1 in the league in that situation. There's a real shot for Cleveland to break through this year. He's strong, he's smart, and he's the anchor in there, I think. All he needs now is reps. Let's get this guy some reps, guys.
Well, and you got to realize, like, Baltimore signed him in March to a 1-year deal. It's a kind of a prove-it deal, right? He gets that opportunity where if he can prove it this season, they're obviously going to extend him, make him a starter, but he's got to show up in 2025 here and really show that he can ball. And, I mean, you're 6'6", 370 pounds. I think you can ball. I'm pretty confident about that.
I don't imagine he's too chubby around the middle.
No. And guys, like, that's the big guy spotlight. You know, we're going to roll into this every week like we always talk about. But that's, 2 guards that have minimal buzz with maximum efficiency. So, like I said, keep your eyes on Jackson in Chicago and Cleveland, wherever Baltimore unleashes him, because they better unleash him soon because he is a monster.
100%.
All right, guys, so now we're back to the wheel of teams. So, like I said before, this week we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going to go defensive lines. So, cue the wheel. We're about to spin in one of these lucky franchises and, spend the next few minutes tearing into their defensive line for stats, stunts, gap plugs, and the whole buffet. First up, here we get it.
First this time. Oh, you better stop. You better stop. Well, we obviously knew who I'm taking. I'm taking the King, Max Crosby. Boom! I think I just won. Like, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to top that.
Oh, not even close. There's like 3 players in the Eagles that take over Max Crosby.
As a defensive end, I don't think so. Maybe.
Made a Super Bowl.
Ooh, I know who you're taking.
Just like that.
That's
I'm pretty sure I won.
Good.
I'm taking Mr. Jones. Chris Jones.
He did.
Because he made the Super Bowl. Didn't win it, but he made, back-to-back Super Bowls.
He almost went to the Raiders last year. All right, here
All
we
right.
go.
Spin coming up.
Browns. The New England Patriots.
Ooh.
Who am I going to pick? Here we go. Bryant. What am I going to pick? I think I'm going to go with Milton Williams, defensive end.
Interior guy.
The end? Oh, sorry. I need to tackle. Jeremiah, excuse me if I mess this up.
No,
Oh, that's
Milton
what I
Williams is the D tackle. I said, yeah.
said. Oh, still taking Milton Williams. Remember, guys, we only get 4.
Who am I gonna get? Ooh, back-to-back Chiefs. Love to hate them, I'll tell you that. Give me. I'm gonna go. George Karlaftis, defensive end.
So do I got. I got a tackle and an end. I just need another tackle and another end.
Yep.
Oh, here we go. Baltimore. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you say.
Ooh, nice.
Gonna have some options here.
I think it's only one option in my opinion, but
Who you thinking?
Oh, Vita.
Oh yeah.
Vita Vey?
Yeah, I'll take
He's a
Vita
monster interior guy.
Son of a gun.
Boom on the Ravens. Let's go. I'm taking Mr. Kyle Van Noy.
I got to get someone really shiny here. I need someone really shiny. J.J. Watt. Excuse me.
I mean, that's what you needed. So, T.J. Watt.
Well, it's safe to say nobody's running outside on us ever. I needed that one, but I think still you're gonna get me.
And the last pick comes down to
Green Bay Packers.
I believe I need an interior guy. I really don't care which way I'm taking most. I get. I'm taking Mr. Kenny Clark.
I'm gonna have to say maybe this one's gonna be a draw.
Well, only one guy on the list made the Super Bowl, so I mean, I don't know. Hope you know, I'll never let you live down that you didn't choose Lane Johnson. So every time you make a pick that's going to be Raiders, I will always shit on it from now on. So, I mean, guys, it comes down to it at the end of the day. You know, Robbie's got Max Crosby and T.J. Watt at the ends with Milton Williams and Vita Vey inside. I mean, that is a nasty defensive line. I'm coming down. I got Chris Jones and Kenny Clark inside with George Karlaftis and Kyle Van Noy on the outside. So, I mean, when you come down to it, I think I'm going to give the edge to Robbie a little bit here. But again, like I said, I will never not make him feel terrible about the fact that he wouldn't pick Lane Johnson, the best offensive lineman in the league. So,
dun, 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 dun. All right, Guy, what do we got next?
let's see.
Fuck.
After Wheeler teams, got a couple flags on the play this week. So, you know, this week, like I just said, I already bring him up. I'm going to bring him up again. This is my guy. Lane Johnson is an absolute unit. And I was scrolling through the blogs, you know, scrolling through the online stuff, the blogs, like I'm fucking 40, scrolling through the online stuff, seeing the shorts, seeing the stuff like that on socials. And there was a big Twitter thing that came up where they said that, I think it was on Patterson.com, that Penny Sewell versus Lane Johnson debate is over. Sewell's clearly passed Lane Johnson as the best right tackle, case closed. And I'm just sitting there back like, reality check much? Lane Johnson has allowed one sack, and I said this before, one sack in the last 700 pass block snaps. And that streak's verified by PFF. You guys can look this up. You guys can check it out. That's a stat. And like I said, he posted an 88.9 pass block rate in 2024. He was one of only 2 tackles rated 85 plus in both pass and run block. Remember I told you that earlier? There was only, I think it was 10 guys that were 80 and 80 on each side. He's one of them, and he's 85 and 85 on each side. So when you look at that, you know, and at the end of the day, like, Sewell's a monster. He's got a 95.7 run block grade since 2023, and you know, I get it. but Johnson is the gold standard when it comes to pass pro. And so the different strengths you have at the same position. So declaring a winner, it just kind of ignores half the job. At the end of the day, yes, Penny Sewell can run block like a monster, but there's no pass blocking guy in the league. And I know everyone's going to say Mr. False start himself. At the end of the day, the tackles are allowed to move that back foot as long as their front foot doesn't move. That's NFL rules. You can look it up. And that's me being a Greasy Old Eagles fan saying that. I've looked it up. I know for a fact it's true. And if you look at any tackle in the league, including Penny Sewell, they all do it. So I don't want to hear it. But I'm telling you straight now, the flag on the play comes down to is false equivalence. So it's a 15-yard penalty for me. If somebody actually beats Lane Johnson on Sunday, that crown stays in Philly. You know what I mean? Like, until I see a defensive lineman that can consistently beat him like he's a dog in church, like, I don't care what happens there. I mean, like, at the end of the day, he's a monster. And so,
always remember this one saying.
It's just ridiculous.
Pancakes are sweet, but if your quarterback is syrup on the turf, no one's eating, boys. No one's eating.
Exactly, boys. Protect the syrup.
All right, I'm up 2. I got Chargers OC Greg Roman. Okay? Greg Roman. Chargers OC Greg Roman told Chargers Weekly he sees second-year tackle Joe Alta as hands down all-pro this year. No qualifiers, just book it. That seems a little crazy. In 10 snaps, 6 sacks, and 20 pressures, 8 penalties. Excellent for a 22-year-old, but is not exactly first-team immortality. Historic reality, since 2010, only 2 tackles, Tyron Smith and Penny Sewell, have hit first-team All-Pros by year 2. Both played beside elite interior talent. The Chargers do not even know who their starting center is yet. And let's be honest, the baby blue is going to be garbage. They're going to be garbage forever. See, I got the baby blue up here, but it's got the shield in front, right? I think, flag throwing, 20 or 15-yard penalty, premature celebration. Let the kid start that over. All right, premature celebration, 10-yard penalty. Let the kid stack seasons before we engrave his plaque.
And guys, at the end of the day, print the T-shirts after week 10, but not in June. Here. Like, come on.
Season acrobatics.
And those are your flags. Sewell versus Lane, it's still going to be a great debate. We're going to see in the next few years. Obviously, Lane's 35 years old, so in the next, I would say probably a year or two, Sewell is going to take that crown. That's me being humble about it. That is the truth and reality there. Sewell is going to take that crown, but it's not there yet. It's not
next segment, sir.
Not next week.
All right, stick around.
Segment.
Our top O-line duel is up next. Today's trench talk. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Today's trench talk. Top 5 O-line duos in the league right now. No repeats, no favorites, just 5 pairs who own their gaps and dominate at the point of attack every week. From Philly All-Pro tackle bookends to the Ravens interior monsters, these are the guys setting the tone for every snap coming up this season.
So, first one I want to talk about, we're going to do top 5, by the way, too. Just, and this isn't sort of any order. This isn't off any list. This is just guys we look out for that are, I feel they're top 5 guys in the league, seeing where they're at. So, obviously, my number 1's going to be right here. It's the green and black. It's Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson. I'm sorry. There is no better duo in the NFL than these two guys. There's no better higher graded duo. There's just no better duo. They're just unreal. So you got Mailata. He had a 95.2 overall grade, number 1 of all offensive linemen. And then Lane Johnson had an 85.4 overall grade, top tackle with an 88.1 pass block. So, let's break it down. Mailata and Johnson are the most dominant tackle duos in the league. Mailata blew past expectations, going from a rugby guy converting to the PFF top-graded lineman. Johnson being at, and Johnson refused to give up a single sack all year and led right tackles with only a 2.2 pressure rate allowed. You remember that?
Wow.
2.2 pressure rate allowed. And that's all under Coach Sutherland. Sutherland University is somewhere the offensive line learned how to be monsters. And so, these two guys, they framed as the best offensive line in the NFL, terrifying on rushing downs and in punctual protection on pass. You know
who he's going to give me because he just crap talked this guy. I'm getting Penny Sewell, and I'm getting Frank Ragnow, Detroit Lions, right tackle and center. Sewell, 87.7 PF overall grade. Ragnow, 83.6 overall grade. Detroit's duo of Sewell and Ragnow aren't just good. They're elite. Sewell posted 87.5 all overall grade, and a 90.5 run blocking grade, making him a wrecking ball on the edge. Now, Ragnow matched that ferocity at center, 85.3 overall, and a 90.8 run blocking grade. Now, that's pretty dang good, ranking third among all centers. These two led Detroit's line in snaps, consistency, and chop blocking power. Those are my words. That's my special word. From the play action setups to straight ahead power runs, they were beating the heart of the beating heart of the line and dominated. Ragnow even earned second team All-Pro honors, while Sewell kept piling up honors, including Pro Bowl nods and top 5 run blocker grades. That's interior dominance on another level, gentlemen.
Monsters, guys, and especially coming out of the center, the monsters. Next two guys I want to talk about, obviously, we're not leaving this guy off the list, is Tristan Wirfs and Luke Goedeke. Left tackle and right tackle. Wirfs, obviously a monster. I mean, he had an 82.8 overall grade with a 93.7 pass block grade. Goedeke's got a 73.7 overall grade. So, I mean, let's talk about it. Tristan Wirfs and Goedeke, they both earned great grades this season. Best among the NFL in tackles with Tristan Wirfs, while allowing no sacks, just my guy, monster, and just one quarterback hit. He had only 12 pressures allowed in more than 1,000 snaps. And I mean, that's all pro. And you see why the guy's getting paid so much money is because he is an absolute dog. And then Goedeke, he quietly delivers, a nice little 73.7. He's got a 76.4 run blocking grade, one of the best pressure rates in football. He followed his breakout season. He stepped in seamlessly when Tampa needed it most. These two guys together, they gave their quarterback time. They gave their run game lanes and technical mastery on the edge with just real chemistry. And so on the strength of this pair, the Bucs quietly kept defenses guessing just all year long.
All right, next up I got the Minnesota Vikings, Christian Dershaw and Brian O'Neill. Right tackle, left tackle. Dershaw, 84.3 overall grade. O'Neill, a little bit lower, 76.8 overall grade. Christian Dershaw and Brian O'Neill of the Vikings. Dershaw played just 8 games, but still carried an overall of 81.4, including an elite 82.3 run blocking grade, ranking 6th among all NFL tackles. Now, that's pretty damn good for 76 overall. A workhorse.
Oh, yeah.
1,100 snaps, 80.8 overall with an 82 pass blocking grade, all while playing through chaos in the Viking season. They had a crazy season. These two mastered techniques, timing on both edges, keeping their quarterback upright and the run game moving. Even during roster shakeups, that's the blueprint for tackle work, guys.
Monsters, guys, monsters. And so the last one we don't talk about, this is someone that, I asked you guys on socials here this last week, sending me in. So I got one got sent in. And so this is what I want to talk about is Baltimore Ravens. Shout out to my guy, I know he's not a Ravens fan, but I appreciate the comment, brother. So we got Tyler Lindenbaum and Patrick McCarry. Baltimore Ravens center and Swiss Army knife out there. I mean, they are absolute monsters. And I say Swiss Army knife because McCarry is just switching positions. They don't really know where he's going just yet. He's rotationally starting around. But Lindenbaum, 82.7 overall grade. McCarry had a 79.6. So just about cracking that 80 mark. Having both these guys almost at 80 overall PFF grade is unreal. And, let's finish strong on this segment. You got Baltimore's interior combo with Tyler Lindenbaum, Patrick McCarry, including the 4th best run blocking at center in 2024. Didn't allow a single sack in over 1,000 snaps. McCarry isn't flashy. But he's that Swiss Army knife O-line. He steps in wherever they need, where injury strikes in. He goes center, he goes guard. He's got what they need. And his overall was 60.4, but he played 988 snaps across 3 positions and surrendered just 1 sack. So, I mean, when you look at their cohesion in the middle of the Ravens' offensive sharp and protection, that's when the starting group got shuffled around, and that flexibility is just gold in today's NFL.
I love seeing centers on this list. I'm sorry. Centers don't get enough love. Tackles get all the love,
so cool.
Little bit of guard play, but those centers, even look at your guy. He got some love, but not until after he won a championship.
Exactly. And guys, every one of these duos is going to bring something different. They have elite pedigree, wild development stories, and do-it-all versatility. And these 5, they gave defenses headaches all year long. So, I mean, let us know. Who do you pick the best out of those 5? Let us know, what's the best trench tandem in the league at the Hoggie Shuffle. We're on socials. We're on TikTok. We're on Instagram. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, all that stuff. Let us know. And then this last segment we wanted to go into, this is something Robbie's wanted to bring up for the last couple weeks here, and just something he's wanted to talk about, really. And so we're going to go into this maybe a little bit every week, but this week I want to talk about the Legends talk. Talk about a guy that, he changed the game a little bit, and he really showed the young guys what it meant to be an NFL offensive lineman and how he could be there and be successful.
I'm not going to say he changed the game as a player because he wasn't average. He was a great player. but he did something more. He was a guy that not only gave to his team relentlessly, but he gave back to the community. And when you can give back to the community, like this guy right here, Preston Ostrom, he's a football coach of 2 teams, and you know what I mean? He's giving back to the youth. And this guy, Andrew Whitworth, come on, he's our big guy spotlight legends, unbelievable. Played until he was 40, won a Super Bowl, named the Walter Payton Man of the Year. And you got to be an absolute rock star of a human being to win that award.
Oh man, you have to. It's
Right?
made for the best human being in the NFL every single year. The guy who gives the most, the guy who does it all, that gives back to charities, gives back to the kids. I mean, that's the whole idea of the Walter Payton Humanitarian Award, is that it's made to make sure these guys know, that everyone knows in the world how much these guys care about their communities and the people.
Let's rewind it a little bit. You know, Whitworth grew up in Monroe, Louisiana, became a 4-year starter at LSU. That's a big school, guys. He was part of the 2003 national 2003. You heard me say that right. National championship team. Even back then, you could tell he was just built different. Drafted by the Bengals in 06, he gave them 11 season rock star leadership in the locker room. He started at guard, moved to left tackle, and became team captain. Team captain, man, again. And he was that kind of lineman who showed up and set the tone every week. Then came the Rams. He signed with the LA Rams at 35. And you'd think, 35 linemen, like you're talking about Lane Johnson, this guy's slowing down. Not even a bit. He became the anchor of that offensive line, protected Matt Stafford, and pushed them to win a Super Bowl. He became the oldest starting left tackle in NFL history to ever win a championship. But Whitworth isn't known just for football. He's the 2021 Walter Payton Man of the Year, like we just said, and for a good reason. He founded the Big Wit 77 Foundation, donating hundreds of thousands to causes across the country that made a real difference in the lives of kids and families. And for me, that's why we're out there. You know what? We can give back to the community. That's what football hits
100%.
home. That's what football does the best. At the 2021 Man of the Year ceremony, Whitworth talked about meeting a kid years ago at the Boys and Girls Club in Cincinnati. That kid's name is Derek Barnes. You probably know him. Whitworth mentored him, talked to him about life, and helped guide him when he needed it most. Fast forward, Derek Barnes gets drafted, ends up playing for the Lions. And you guessed who was the blocking across from him on his NFL debut? You knew who it was, Andrew Whitworth. It came full circle. That story for me represents everything that I love about the game of football. It's hard, it's mean, it's dirty, but at the end of the day, when we take those helmets off, we're the best men out there. We know what it takes to be a man. Whit retired in 2022, but his impact is still felt. He's now a broadcaster, a mentor, and one of the most respected voices in the game. Skill, leadership, and heart, he brought all 3 things every day. So here's the question for all you listeners. Is Andrew Whitworth Hall of Fame in your eyes? Because for me, he's a first ballot. I want to know what you guys think. If you don't
all
think
day
he
long.
is, tell me why he's not. I want to know exactly why and exactly why not.
Love it. So, I mean, guys, that's the meat and potatoes here. That wraps up the episode. I thought that was a really good one. We talked about a lot of good stuff. Again, I just got to say it. Like and subscribe. Follow us on socials. We need the love too. We're trying to give the love out there, but we don't get to have this if we don't keep building up. We got to keep building up and get more and more and more and more. Right now, I think we're only at about 27 subscribers, and so when we have certain episodes where we're seeing 112 views, 120 views, getting more and more people watching it. If you like the episode and you think this is an awesome content that you want people to see or you want to talk about, share it with your friends. Like, subscribe. Get it pumping on there. At the end of the day, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. We got lots of shorts going out. We're just trying to keep this community building and keep the love for the offensive line built up properly. So just again, YouTube, the Hoggie Shuffle. It's really easy to find. It's like I said, we're the only ones out there. There's not a lot of guys out there that want to talk about this. There's not a lot of guys out there that show the love to the big men, that really want to see the big men succeed. And, we always say it. We don't get the touchdowns. We don't get the tackles. We don't get all the big plays. But I'll tell you what we do make. We make football happen. Without the offensive line, defensive line, I'm telling you right now, football does not cease to exist. You want to go watch a 7-7 tournament? Because I don't. That's not fun. Who gives a shit if you can rip out and make a 40-yard catch against a DB with the quarterback throwing with nobody in his face? That's nothing. It's like That's not fun. I want to see 12v12. I want to see 11v11. I want to see that 9-man ball. I want to see those linemen on the line, grit, grind, and punching in the mouth.
Flapjacks, baby. Bohica.
It's Bohica, baby. It's Bohica. Good coach taught me that one. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the episode here. And always, stay nasty. We'll catch you next week.